This is In the Know for Thursday, October 28th, the 301st day of 2021. There are 64 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast. On Facebook, watch on YouTube, on Periscope, on Twitter, actually, and the hashtag is In the Know coming up today. We'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Grayson County Public Health Director Josh Embry will stop by for a conversation. There's a booster clinic scheduled for today. We'll tell you about that, update you on the latest, and we'll rank Halloween candy from worst to best. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know why I'm sleepy, but I am.
Yeah, it's going to be a dreary day today.
Yeah.
It'll be an easy day to be sleepy. You're wearing your UK gear today. That must
Yes.
mean something special is going on today?
Well, yes. So it's Red Ribbon Week,
Yes.
and you are supposed to sport your favorite team, whatever.
right,
So
right.
Lele, we put Kentucky on her, and
I see. So Alea has UK gear on today. You have UK gear on today, and I'm going to save mine until tomorrow.
okay.
Because the Cats are on the road at Mississippi State this week. So looking good in your UK blue over there. This year might be the most expensive Thanksgiving ever. So I just want you to be prepared.
Okay.
Price hikes on numerous items for a variety of reasons are set to make this year's Thanksgiving feast the most expensive on record. Canned cranberries will cost more because of a steel shortage. Turkeys will cost more because of the price of the corn they eat has more than doubled. And dinner rolls will cost more because of the price of baking ingredients has gone up. Is that going to deter us? It won't. Will
I
it?
don't think
Yeah,
so.
we'll still forge ahead
Yeah.
and do Thanksgiving the way we do Thanksgiving. That'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Moscow, Paris, and even, I don't know, Hotlanta. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good.
You headed off to Atlanta tomorrow for Game 3?
No,
No,
I
you're gonna
don't think-
stay
don't,
home?
Don't think so. I got. We're gonna have to get our boats out and our rain ponchos for Grayson County Heart Count.
Oh, yeah, you got to stay home because the Raiders are coming to town tomorrow,
Yeah,
right?
should be exciting.
Yeah, it'll become no surprise to you that the Halloween candy has been ranked, and you know that Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are number one. I mean, it's not even close, not even a challenge. That Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, by and large, most people will say.
Whose list is this?
It is a list produced by me, yours truly.
Okay.
Last of 32 was Raisinets.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Almond Joy needs to be down there in Mounds.
Oh,
You take that back. They're at number 30, and they should be higher. Almond
No
Joy.
way.
Almond Joy is delicious. It's underrated, and it's not as I didn't realize it was as old as it was either.
I don't know that underrated is the word I would use. I think it's overrated at 30.
Laffy Taffy is at 28, but you all be disappeared, and don't tell Mrs. Gordon. Dots are at 27
I mean, Dots
of 30.
definitely are better
I
than
love dots.
of
See,
30.
Laffy Taffy, the best. I'm not sure that I've ever eaten a Laffy Taffy, but you've read 1,000 jokes on them.
I'll tell you the real problem is that Kit Kat is at 16, not Kit Tecate. Kit Tecate has to be higher than 16. Give me a break. Twix is at 10. Snickers is at 9.
Snickers is low.
Nerds at 7. Hershey's Kisses at 5. Hershey's Nuggets at 4. No
is-
thanks.
What is that?
Sour Patch Watermelon and Sour Patch Kids at 3 and 2, and then Reese's Peanut Butter Cups at number 1.
What is Hershey's Nuggets?
I think it's a combination of crunch, and then they're all. I don't know. It's well, I mean, if you can find out what goes into chicken nuggets, you'll know what goes into Hershey's Nuggets. It's a similar principle. Periods of rain today. We'll see steady bands moving in and much more scattered tonight. Weekend looks to be sunny to end the weekend. Going to be warmer on Halloween than it will be between now and then. Next week's going to feature a few waves of rain moving in. At the same time, colder air will be sinking to the south. So that combination could lead to a snowflake or two being visible at some point in
Nope.
time at the end
Take
of
that
next
back.
week. I'm not saying I don't hear that as it's going to snow. I'm telling you, don't be surprised if later on Thursday, early on Friday,
You just made Dennis Cook's day.
you might see a rain shower and you might go, was that a snowflake in there? And don't be surprised if the answer is yes. But that's not until the end of next week, when also we get to fall back and gain an hour over the course of next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend. Periods of rain today, a high of 56. Showers and fog tonight, a low of 54. 6 in 10 chance of rain tonight. Tomorrow, 80% chance of rain, high of 60. Sloppy night for senior night out at Cougar Stadium, Sam.
Yeah.
Most likely.
It doesn't look too good right now, but we've still got 24 hours to improve that forecast.
Hopefully the Raiders get roughed up when they come to town tomorrow. Merrick Garland, the Attorney General for the United States, got roughed up on Capitol Hill yesterday. I don't know if you've seen any of the coverage yesterday of his testimony in Congress over this school board memo that has a lot of people outraged around the country. But Tom Cotton, the senator from Arkansas, just took him to task about, challenging him on why he hadn't seen a memo that had his name on it that's underneath the U.S. Department of Justice in which he heads. Now, I understand you can't keep track of all 150,000 employees in the Justice Department. That would be a little challenging to do. But something as significant as labeling parents who are concerned about their children as domestic terrorists, or even drawing conclusions of that, can be, a problem. Josh Hawley, also of Missouri, called for Garland to resign over his handling of the memo. And he also, it was him or Cotton that said, and thank God you're not on the Supreme Court. And I'm like, ooh, insult to injury, since, he was the one that didn't get a hearing that President Obama was trying to nominate late in his term. So, there you go. President Brandon is leaving the Capitol. He's off on his trip to Europe.
Looks like Tiger walking across the golf course.
Yeah, he's there trying to pull his spending bill and his budget out of the fire before he goes over to Europe and has to defend why he couldn't get it done. So we'll see. 1,702 new COVID-19 cases, 20 more virus-related deaths reported yesterday. 5.56% is what our positivity rate is, so that's about where I was hoping it might go under 5.5 in hopes that we might get under 5 today, but probably not going to get under 5 until maybe Saturday. I think the number we'll see tomorrow will still be in the 5s, but 869 patients hospitalized in Kentucky, 276 patients in ICU, 145 on ventilators. Those numbers are close to being flat. There's slight improvements in all those numbers, but they're not moving a whole lot. But we fortunately had, to see a number on a Wednesday that is in the 1,000s instead of in the 2,000s show you that we're gaining ground. And then still a swath of red for us and our neighbors. If you're looking to our west and our north and our east immediately, things are still red, but south, for us, south all the way to the Tennessee line, we're in orange. And
shout out to LaRue County, too.
Yeah, Edmonson County, not too far from going into the moderate. They're at 15, just need to get to 10 in order to do that. There is a vaccine clinic underway or on tap for today, and we're going to talk with Josh Embry about it more in the next segment. And he'll have all the details, but there's a free COVID-19 vaccine clinic today at the Grayson County Public Library. Will not offer first doses of Moderna, but first doses of Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson 1-dose vaccine will be available. Boosters will be available for Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. It is underway. It's underway until 11, and then again from 1 to 3. No appointment is necessary. Just walk in at the Grayson County Public Library. And again, we'll learn more specifics about that coming up in just a few minutes. There were unfounded reports of a student with a firearm at Grayson County High School yesterday. This has rippled across the country. There have been instances of this because thanks to social media, and I don't mean one particular outlet of social media, but all of them, word gets shared. Like one person says somewhere, and they might say the high school. Well, in this day and age, which the high school are you talking about? So someone a state away who's friends with someone can read that in passing and think you're talking about a completely different high school. So you'll see situations like this happen, and then there's this ripple effect across the country that you didn't used to have when we were more detached and information didn't flow as quickly. I don't know that this is the case, but I have heard other national stories this week of similar instances. And then next thing you know, you've got leadership at our Grayson County High School that's trying to play defense on rumors and misinformation. After several students reported to staff late yesterday that a student had a gun at the school. Again, I don't know where that information got planted. Was it from someone actually in the school? Was it from someone out of the school? Was it from someone three states away?
You can never tell these days, too, what's hearsay and what's...
Just someone...
It's like playing the telephone game.
Where did you hear that? In the hallway? Well, where did they hear it? From Facebook? Well, then immediately you've got information that isn't, germane to your particular location. But the LPD and resource officer Ian Renfro responded, investigated. They, took those things very seriously, they're saying, and they have to because you
never know.
You can't be too sure. But then a few minutes later, Principal Baldwin sent a text to parents and guardians saying everything is fine, and they were made aware of the situation, investigated it, and, take it very seriously, et cetera, et cetera. So, again,
what was that?
There is a bug that's been flying around in here. It was
just flying right in your head.
It attacked Dennis on Tuesday, and he tried to eradicate it, but it's apparently going to require a call to Mark Godby. Can you bring in here your Ghostbusters bug fighting machine? And
I didn't know what I was seeing.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird looking hard shell bug too. So who knows? Kentucky has been awarded a $1 million federal grant to help expand high-speed internet across the state. The COVID-19 pandemic has underscored the importance of reliable high-speed internet access for education, business, and healthcare. Governor Beshear said yesterday, the access to the internet is no longer a luxury. To build a better Kentucky, every home and business in our state should have access to affordable, adequate, and reliable internet to participate fully in our economy, schools, and society. All states were invited to apply for a $1 million grant through one of the federal programs to distribute ARPA funding. The grant is the latest step to expand high-speed internet in Kentucky. Last year, the state dedicated $8 million in federal pandemic relief funding to expand internet connectivity for elementary and secondary students and their families. Kentucky is improving in this regard. We had that... what was that boondoggle that we've been dealing with for a better part of a decade that we've spent? I can't even remember the name of it now. Mm-hmm. But they were trying to build that fiber backbone across the state, starting east to west, and it's hit hurdle after hurdle. And then you had to decide, well, do we just pull the plug? Not even proverbially, but do we pull the plug and start from scratch, or what do we do? Our community has been blessed in the last year, since March, and really setup work and exploratory work goes beyond March. But when the announcement was made last March for the new fiber initiative in Grayson County, that is an outcropping of the transition of Twin Lakes Regional to Owensboro Health and the formation of a new foundation that invested in fiber infrastructure for our community. So it is, the governor's right. It's not a luxury. It is a necessity as much as, well, you got to have electricity before you can have internet. But they're becoming closer and closer to being side by side. And in fact, internet has surpassed telephone.
Oh, it's not even close.
In necessity, because you can do things. The internet there are things you need to do on the internet you can't do on a phone, but most anything you can do on a phone, you can do on the internet.
Do people still talk on the phone?
Do you know how much? Do you know? On Monday, I went around. In fact, I'm going to haul it into the building later on today in case you all would like to plan a ceremony. I took all of the landline phones and the answering machine and everything, and boxed them up from our house on Monday and said, yes.
I'll be
I'm
really
liberated.
curious though. When Alea is your age, will she even talk on the phone? Like, what will technology look like?
And she'll just speak it. She'll
Yeah.
just speak out loud,
It's
and a
just
person
kind of like
will hear it in their ear.
Because the
from
phone,
wherever they
even
are.
phone conversations are starting to kind of take the dip.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're becoming less and less. But anyway, the governor's right. But my point to that story was $1 million is nice. Don't get me wrong. $1 million is nice. But $1 million spread out across an entire state.
Easier said than done.
I don't know. I don't know what
It
you
only
get
goes
for.
so far.
I don't know what you get for your money
Yeah.
for $1 million when it's for the entire state. So that's I do not mean to have a tone of a lack of gratitude. That's not it. But when I go $1 million, what will $1 million do? When you see these signs on the side of the road that said we're paving a half mile of road and here's what it costs to do it, I'm like, well, that seems like a lot of money, but that's not very much road, to do. Maybe you get more value in internet expenses. I do not know. 2 years after the Kentucky Republican Party filed a complaint against a potential challenger to U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell, the Federal Election Commission has unanimously dropped it. Matt Jones, who is the host of KSR, which you will hear next hour on 103.9 The Moose, was temporarily taken off the air after the complaint was filed in 2019. He told the Courier-Journal for a story that I think has been published today that the case demonstrates, quote, why folks are hesitant to run for office. He said it was a very stressful time. Not only was his work interrupted, but he also had to pay for a defense lawyer. He said, I have a platform and a loud voice, but imagine if I didn't. So Kentucky Republicans accused Jones of using the airwaves to promote himself as a candidate. And it said iHeartMedia was making in-kind contributions by airing opinions of McConnell on his show. So this is a hairy situation. It's complex. It's not as simple on the surface as it might be to those who are out in the state who are just fans of KSR and maybe of Matt. I never felt like that I know he was impacted by the challenge, but I always thought that the challenge and the complaint was Kentucky Republicans, but Mitch McConnell behind it, and with iHeart, because it was iHeart that was
and
making
Smith & Schuster.
Simon & Schuster got...
Yeah, Simon & Schuster. They were in this too, but I know that they're not controlled by the FCC.
Right.
But,
okay.
but
or
they
the
filed it with
FEC.
FEC, though.
Right.
They said because he was also traveling for the book at this time. So they had said that
Interesting.
some of the money spent by them was a campaign donation because the book was a campaign.
Because they were paying his expenses to do the book tour,
Correct.
to go around
actually,
the places.
it was interesting. I read their release, their like argument.
Right.
It was interesting. I just found it very interesting on what Simon & Schuster or Smith & Schuster, what I don't know, remember what it's called, what they said.
Yeah, because CBS owns Simon & Schuster. So it's a division it's a publishing company that even CBS owns, which Paramount owns then CBS. But the reason this onion has many layers is that a lot of these rules are antiquated because they were crafted in a time before the internet, before people could have their own voice. Because if you had a monopoly on a product, you could just pretty much determine what the content was and you could control it and you could send certain candidates forward if you wanted to and give them a unfair advantage over the competition. Well, that landscape has changed, but it goes back to my point of either you regulate the broadcast industry and you regulate the internet industry, or you don't regulate either and just let the free flow of ideas. But it's the reason this is still a thing is because our leadership, our Congress, hasn't faced the facts on we're going to have to reinvent and reimagine the way that we're doing all of this now. And you get situations like this that, I mean, the rules were in place that they could make the claim that he was, and he was at levels gaslighting everyone on will I or won't I run or that, but he also shouldn't lose his job as a result of it.
Because iHeart had no choice.
iHeart had no choice because the rules were, and they're regulated by the FCC, and the FEC then has a standing in that, and there's like, well, we don't have any choice but to do this. But I also don't think he should have lost his job on Hey Kentucky because Amy McGrath didn't like the fact that he might be running against her. So
100%.
I don't know. It's just we've got
That's
to
why
figure
you
all
can't
this
stand
out.
politics.
Got to figure all of this out. And let's talk about something that many more people can agree on. COVID-19, right? Josh Embry is here from the Grayson County Public Health Department. We'll talk to him. There's a clinic going on today you need to know about. So hang around here on In the Know.
Saturday night. Coach Stoops and the Cats are in Starkville to battle an SEC West foe, Mississippi State Bulldogs, and your Kentucky Wildcats. Touchdown, Kentucky!
The Cats on K105 are brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials. Tune in to Countdown to Kickoff, 4 p.m. Saturday on K105.
Attention propane customers. Has your existing provider been hard to reach? Have you had questions that haven't been answered or experienced long wait times and been asked to reply and send emails for customer support? Don't waste any more of your time. Southern States Co-op in Bowling Green will take your call. They will even swap out your existing tank with no charge for removing your current tank. Southern States of Bowling Green is ready to serve your propane needs in Bowling Green and surrounding counties because empty is never an option.
At WellCare, we help you get and stay your healthy best. You'll get Medicaid coverage with $0 copays and extra benefits at no cost to you, like new glasses every year for adults and kids, free cell phones, and $300 in free health items delivered to your door, and exciting rewards like Amazon Prime memberships and Fitbits. Call to learn more, 1-877-389-9457, or visit wellcare.com/Kentucky. WellCare, beyond healthcare, a better you.
If you're a woman over 40, have you had your annual mammogram? Whether you're a mother, wife, sister, mentor, or friend, you're important to so many in your life. At Owensboro Health, we want to help you live a healthy life with the ones you love. Having an annual screening mammogram is one way to take good care of yourself, because you're worth it. Schedule your screening mammogram online at owensborohealth.org/mammogram.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Choose any breakfast sandwich, buy one, get one free. Available only on the app. Price and participation may vary. McD app download and registration required. Single item at regular price.
Just in case you're still trying to figure things out for Halloween, Google Trends releasing its 2021 Frightgeist, which lists the top costumes nationally, as well as the most popular ones in cities across the country. Top 5 costumes nationally are Witch, Rabbit, Dinosaur, Spider-Man, and Cruella de Vil. Squid Game costumes are trending, currently the 23rd most popular. Randomly, Space Girl Cowboy is the top costume idea searched around Glendive, Montana, Baby Yoda in Rockford, Illinois, and Hugh Hefner is number 1 around Eureka, California. Google is rolling out the ability for kids, teens, and their parents to request to have pictures deleted from the company's image search results. You do need to provide some personal information and the image URLs and search queries that would surface the results. Apple opening up some of its own stuff to reviews. Messages, phones, photos, and Safari are open to user scrutiny now in the Apple App Store for ratings and reviews. You might be able to vent about iMessage or your iPhone, but what is Apple really going to do about it is the question. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Today is Statue of Liberty Dedication Day. It was dedicated to this date in 1886. 151 feet, Lady of Liberty. It is also Chocolate Day today. Yes, there was also a Chocolate Day in July, but chocolate is so great it gets 2 days a year. Josh Embry is here from the Grayson County Health Department. He is the Public Health Director. Welcome back. Good morning.
Good morning.
How do you, where are you on chocolate? Like it, love it, hate it, don't?
I don't see how you could hate chocolate.
That's what I wonder. Is that even possible?
if you were going to say hate, we might have to end this interview right away, right?
Yeah, I love chocolate.
Do you have a favorite kind? Milk chocolate? Do you like a?
I just know I like Hershey's Kisses a lot.
Okay, that's all right. It's kind of a pure form of
What was
chocolate.
it?
That's good.
Number 5 on the list.
It
There
seemed
that we
like it
talked
was
about?
somewhere around the 5 on the Halloween candy rank. So, wow.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out a way to wade into this. I was trying to deflect a little bit by talking about chocolate, things that make us happy. But the last time we visited together, we were ramping up into the throes of the Delta variant. I know the last time we talked, we had just come out of a period where we thought we were like things were looking good and we're doing things, and all of a sudden we got hit with an uppercut called Delta, and it's been quite a roller coaster ride for the healthcare community, and I presume for the Grayson County Health Department.
It has, but with the virus, we've learned that there's ups and downs and all arounds, and we go as we can.
We went through when we went through the most recent hump, and I'll hope that it's the last hump. Mm-hmm. But as you did that, I know fatigue was still there for people who had been involved in it from the very beginning and trying to figure out these waves that were coming. But is there I won't say callousing, because I think that means that maybe you're insensitive or you're dull to the situation. But the more time that you live in the middle of this, do you gain more wisdom and knowledge and know more, and as a result have the power of wisdom that we didn't have in March of 2020?
I think we definitely know a lot more about COVID than we did in 2020. However, when I say that there's still a lot of confusion and misconceptions, unfortunately, I mean, all you got to do is, I noticed on your board here, you said, what did we blame societal problems on before Facebook? All you have to do is get on social media to see that there's still misinformation, and that I don't know if we'll ever completely fix that, but we definitely know more, I think, in general than we did last year.
I think I mentioned it yesterday or day before, and I haven't spent a whole lot of time lamenting about it, but I see the rankings where we are as a county, and there is no good reason that we score the way we do in COVID-19 metrics. When I look at other metrics, let me take you back when I was a student at Grayson County High School. We seemingly had, and I don't know whether it was true or not, but we were all walking around with the idea that Grayson County had the highest teen pregnancy rate in the state. Now, whether that was true or not, I don't know. But it seemed like it happened frequently enough that it was commonly accepted. Like, well, okay, well, we've got some problems in that regard. Maybe it's a lack of education. Maybe it's a lack of, whatever it might be. But then I think of that in terms of now flash forward as a 50-year-old, and I look and see, well, we rank 9th. Well, there's nothing good that Grayson County ranks 9th in Kentucky. So we're not 9th in population, so it stands to reason we would be 9th in battling with COVID. We're in a category that doesn't seem to fit our demographics, our socioeconomic. Do you have an assessment as to why?
I really don't know. I mean, there's different theories and things, but all I know is there's a lot of good things about Grayson County, but there's some things that I don't completely understand, and it will be the spread of this virus.
Yeah.
And why, it seems like a lot of people take it seriously, but a lot of people on the other side don't. So it's just hard to explain.
And as a native Grayson Countyan and as almost a lifelong Grayson Countyan, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot to make assessments, and then also be just honest in assessments with self, more so than others can. Sometimes I wonder, is that we're in this weird, we're not large and we're not small. A lot of the rural counties in Kentucky are very clanny. Maybe there's only 8,000 people in the entire county, and it has a much more small town feel. And then we're not at the 50,000 county level where you might get, Nelson and those, so you have, bigger bases to draw from. We're stuck somewhere in the middle, and so in ways we have people who are open-minded and they're willing to embrace change, and they say, okay, these are the times we live in. And then there's also a large number of people that say, I want no change whatsoever, and I'm anti-vaccine, and I'm this and I'm that. Do you see that? I observe that. Do you observe that?
I think that there, as far as the numbers and the percentages and things of people who are anti-vax or whatever have you in the county, I don't exactly know that. I do know that it's that way, and I'm originally from Breckenridge County, and there are people in Breck County who are anti-vax. So I think that, who knows? I don't know the exact percentages. That's a complicated question.
I would be interested to. Yeah, no one has the answers, and merely all I have are even hypotheses to figure out why is it that we continue to be ranked the way that we are, because there's no good reason that we should. But what I would also like to do, and maybe as the director, but I'd even like to get beyond the director level and talk to those people that work in your organization, that are in the field, that have FaceTime with people over the last 4 to 5 months, to see what kind of revelations those folks have come to, because this last 6-month period has been so deadly in our community. There have been people dying in the last 6 months that it was unnecessary, right? This was, a lot of these deaths were regretfully avoidable. And I can't imagine what it must be like to be a nurse or to be a healthcare provider in this community now, and dealing and having to communicate with people that have so much regret that I wish I had done something differently. I wish I had known sooner to do something else. Are you seeing pain and hurt like that in the field?
Yes, we are. We're seeing, frustration, specifically with medical staff who are having a hard time understanding why there's still vaccine hesitancy. And then when the numbers continue to climb and, you're relied on heavily to do your job, and rightfully to do your job, regardless of somebody's views or what you feel like maybe have put them there. It is frustrating, and it's sad, but at the same time, your heart breaks for that person, and it breaks for those families that lose loved ones. So there is definitely frustration. There's definitely fatigue, but I think that healthcare workers will always have a sense of compassion. If you don't have that compassion, you can't stay in healthcare. I mean, you'll burn out quickly. So obviously, if you've been working in healthcare in the last 2 years and you've stayed consistent and you're still there, you have a level of compassion. You have to. But there's definitely burnout and there's frustration. And I just wish everybody completely understood, about this vaccine and did their due diligence to research valid, reputable sources.
Yeah. That's one of the things that really been challenging people over in the more recent months is I don't, check the source of your information. I would just ask you.
Facebook is not a source.
Just go back and find the original source to the information that you have. And if you source it out and you still feel the way that you do, well, that's for you to decide, Mm-hmm. But we can just follow all these false prophets, if you will, so easily, of people that claim to know what they're talking about, but they really don't. They're just trying to seem like that they're important or knowledgeable, and that's where we can run afoul. Also about in the situation that your healthcare community around you is going through is, in our role, we try and split. We try and split the difference, or spend fair amounts of time on being entertaining, while at times we definitely have to be informative. The show's about knowledge and it's about information, but it shouldn't always be serious, and it's never always been serious. But we've had a hard time balancing and trying to find out when people want to laugh and smile and when they really need to be serious and get their attention. But it's like we can have fun and talk about something else, but that there are COVID undertones to everything that we're doing. In your community, you all don't get to walk away from it. You all don't get to do a bit on the ranked Halloween candy and and yuck it up. You all are just kind of in the middle of it, and I admire the stick-to-itiveness of the people that do.
Mm-hmm. I think that, like I said, that level of compassion and the service-centered For instance, Mark, I was talking with a contact tracer yesterday, and she was telling me, I asked her, I said, how do you consider something resolved or, successfully handled, a problem? And she said, if I'm taking care of these sick people and making sure they have the resources that they need while they're, quarantined or isolated, but then they don't feel like they're completely cut off from the world. And that was just a really compassionate answer. And she's not the only one that feels that way. My, nurses feel that way. And I know if my staff feel that way, the hospital staff feel that way.
Year and a half ago, quarantine was lock them up, throw away the key. In essence, stay as far away from anybody as you can because we don't really know what we're doing. And then there's just been that's that wisdom I think that I was referring to earlier. That there's a practical side. You've got the knowledge. You have enough seat time that you can go. Here's how we address this situation and come to that resolution that you're talking about. That's as safe as possible for everyone. So anyway, thanks for indulging me on that part because I've just been very curious about the processes and how you all are holding up and how you're, addressing this Delta variant and just trying to get in, hopefully, what would be the waning days of this pandemic. But the reason you're here is to talk about boosters and clinics and, of course, vaccinations still available. Tell me a little bit about what's going on at the public library today.
We are actually focusing on booster doses. It's a very, very busy day. I've already checked over there, and they've told me that it's wild, as to use their verbiage, their language.
That's a clinical definition over there. It's wild.
Healthcare.
It's wild, which means that there's a long line and they're very busy and they're trying to keep up. So we're doing the booster doses, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. We knew that it was going to be busy because the majority of the county actually either got J&J or Moderna because the storage requirements for Pfizer was so complicated when it came out, and it was the first vaccine to come out. So we knew it was going to be busy. So we're giving those booster doses. If somebody has had the Moderna or the Johnson & Johnson, and the Moderna shot, you have to have 6 months after your second dose. You can get your booster shot if you meet certain requirements. So it says if you're 18 years of age and you have health conditions, and no, you do not have to bring documentation to show that you have a health condition. It's kind of an honor code that you sign. Or if you work in a high-risk job. Well, that's a lot of jobs. You can consider if anything right now during a virus, if you're coming in contact, this with us sitting at a table could be, if someone looked at it, it could be high risk.
Sure.
We're vaccinated, but still could be high risk. So, you could definitely qualify for your booster dose. Teachers, people in healthcare, people who work front desks. So we're trying to follow those guidelines, but we're not interrogating people as they come through, is the point being. So the J&J vaccine, you actually only have to wait 2 months to get your booster dose, and they have approved for you to mix match. I guess I can say those words, mix match. So if you got J&J, you can actually, choose the Moderna or you can choose the Pfizer as long as it's been 2 months from.
Believe it or not, I'm not a scientist and I'm not an epidemiologist and I'm not a specialist on vaccinations or their construct. I know you find that hard to believe, but I was really surprised when they said, if you got Pfizer, it's okay to get Moderna for your booster. A, were you surprised? And B, is that causing confusion?
Yes and no. I think that just shows us that these vaccines, even though they're you have two that are, I believe they call them mRNA vaccines, and then you have the J&J. They have some differences. They also have a lot of similarities, and they do the same thing. So at the end of the day, I'm not really so shocked. But the FDA tends to be, I don't know if I can say this on air, they're very thorough when it comes to stuff. We'll put it that way. So I'm surprised they didn't say black and white. You got this, you get that, you stay with that. But then I can kind of understand, too, that at the end of the day, the vaccines do the same thing. They do have a lot of similarities.
Now, how do you feel about mixing and matching? Like, if you were in that situation, like myself being a J&J, I'm looking into getting my booster.
I love how we're like team J&J, team.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like a superpower.
I'm Team Pfizer.
Yeah, so that's why you're over there.
I'm a Pfizer driver.
We each got different ones. He got J&J, Moderna, and Pfizer.
I feel like we're in that scene of The Office. We're all doing a standoff here.
You like the mixing and matching?
Do I?
Yes.
At this point, I trust the professionals, the scientists, and the doctors. If they say it's safe, I believe it's safe. Is it ideal? Maybe not, because I'm kind of a black and white person, kind of like the FDA, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also understand why they're doing it, and I think that the vaccines have proven, even though they have similarities, let's just be honest, some have been front runners. And I think J&J does a good job. It's definitely better than not getting a vaccine at all. But I definitely think if you do lean towards the mRNA vaccines, that you get a little bit more protection. So I guess at this point, yeah, if it gets us through this pandemic and it helps somebody feel safe, and we're coming on the holidays, that's a big thing we need to start talking about. People are going to be gathering. And I've told my staff this year, our message is not going to be, we don't think you should gather. We're not going to tell people that. We're going to say, if you gather, please consider getting vaccinated prior.
I'm so sorry for taking up so much of your time, because
No, you're
I
fine.
got so much stuff, so many things I think of. I go, oh, I need to ask this, and oh, I want to know that. I'm going to ask you about forecasting. You just touched on Thanksgiving, so I kind of want to get what your feeling is or what you think is going to happen in the coming weeks and months as we head into the holidays. But I also know more recently, since numbers have come back down, a lot of metrics have been met that have led some school boards in some portions of the state to relax and say, okay, we're going to make masks in schools voluntary. In particular, Hardin County was one of the front runners that did it immediately, even on a day when I thought, let's give it a little more time. Is there a study? Is there someone? Is it Dr. Stack? Is it anyone that you know of that's kind of studying to see how those systems that really got out ahead and said, we're going to make it voluntary, to see how those numbers are playing in those communities? Do you know?
I think that there's really good collaboration between KDE and Kentucky Department for Public Health. Of course, I can't particularly speak for those organizations. I'm just saying as an outsider looking in. They do look at metrics and data. Now, that specific stuff that, sometimes they share with us as health department directors. Sometimes they don't. I guess they don't feel like it's privy to us knowing. It's more so getting them out to the schools. I will say that there's been kind of a pull away the last few months from health or schools relying solely on health departments. Now, that's not a particularly bad thing. That means that they're trying to get back to being self-sufficient. For instance, Grayson County Schools they've been doing their own contact tracing since the very beginning of school, whereas last year we were doing all their contact tracing. So I think that the state's mission, and again, I can't speak for them, just outsider looking in, is to equip these school districts to try to make the best decisions they can, but each school district is different. So if they want to give them a little leeway in making those decisions. So I think it's county specific. I think that if it has to come down to the school board and the administration, and if they feel that they're meeting their own internal benchmarks and that the students and staff are safe, then that's ultimately up to them.
What do you feel like going into the holiday season? I know you're going to be counseling people, and people are going to ask you and say, should we gather, should we not gather? And I know you just said that your message will not be do not gather, but there's got to be a footnote to that. It'll be do not gather, but. What's the but part?
People are going to gather one way or the other. And if I say don't gather, that's just going to make them want to gather even more.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. We all value our rights, and we all love holidays and seeing our family. So the reason why I'm saying to my staff, don't tell people that, is because it's more of a realistic approach is to say, okay, we know you're going to gather. We know you're going to see your mom, your dad, your mama, your papa, some of you, maybe even your great-grandparents. If not for you, get vaccinated for them. Because I've seen we have all seen a lot of tragedy this year, and I always like to put myself in someone else's shoes, Mark. And so I think, how would I feel if I went and I visited my mom or my dad or my grandparents or great-grandparents, and I spread COVID to them, and then 3 days after Christmas, 4 days, whatever, my grandmother was on a ventilator, and then she passed away. And that sounds harsh, but that's the reality for so many Grayson County families, that they have faced. We're almost at 100 deaths. And I always say my thoughts and prayers go out for those families continuously, all the way back to the very first death from this virus in this county. So I really hope people take it seriously. I hope we can enjoy the holidays, but also remember that there is a threat out there, and it could come back and bite any of us if we don't practice precaution.
Yeah, I heard something last week that has come up. It keeps coming up in my mind, and we're out of time, and I know we got to go, and you have to go. But I thought it was called the 10-10-10 rule. Mm-hmm. When you decide something, like when you're dealing with a family member or whatever, when you consider it, think about how you'll feel about it in 10 minutes, think about how you'll feel about it in 10 days, and think about how you'll feel about it in 10 years, and use those three answers to kind of guide your thinking a little bit on how to do it. So I found it to be a very useful tool. Josh Embry, thanks for coming in as always.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Public Health Director, Grayson County Health Department. Got to get you a break. Back with more here on In the Know.
If you're traveling by foot, it's important to stay on your toes. Be visible with bright or reflective clothing. Use sidewalks and crosswalks. Pay attention and stay off the phone. When it comes to pedestrian safety, please walk the walk. Walk safe, Kentucky. A message from the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
We're a farm store, a family store, a look what I found store. We're a store made for real people and some real beasts. We're a hey neighbor kind of store and an everyday low price store. We're Rural King, and we're working hard to be your favorite store. Check out the huge selection of men's, women's, and kids' Wrangler clothing at the lowest prices every day, like these Wrangler Retro Bootcut jeans for just $49.99.
Hey everybody, it's time for a new season to start. That's right, Connect Open Enrollment is here and everyone can get in the game. Whether you're looking for quality, affordable health coverage for you and your family, or any of our helpful benefits and resources, Connect is on your side. Enrollment kicks off on November 1st, so go to connect.ky.gov and go Team Kentucky. Connect, together for a better Kentucky.
Core-Mark has an urgent hiring need for all warehouse positions, including some Sunday through Thursday and Monday through Friday shifts. Order selectors will make $16 hourly in the first year. Forklift drivers will make up to $17, and full case order selectors can make up to $23 hourly in the first year. Paid holidays from the start, along with great benefits and 2 weeks of vacation in your first year. All new employees receive a $1,000 sign-on bonus. Come work for the best. Core-Mark is hosting a job fair today until 4 on Salt River Road in Litchfield. Core-Mark is an equal opportunity employer.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Cloudy with rounds of rain today and highs into the 50s for tonight, staying in the 50s with those showers becoming a bit more scattered. Then we head into tomorrow, continuing to deal with these rounds of rain across the region with highs once again into the 50s. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Anker.
Pilot of the airwaves, here is my request. You don't have to play it, but I hope you'll do your best. I've been listening to your show on the radio, and you seem like a friend to me.
Did you know the revenue generated from gambling is more than the combined revenue from movies, cruise ships, recorded music, theme parks, and spectator sports combined?
That doesn't surprise me.
But we don't have gambling in Kentucky.
No.
Remember, we don't have any gambling in Kentucky. We have
Just the lottery.
None whatsoever.
And horse racing.
Horse racing is skill, Sam. Don't you know anything?
Historical horse racing? What about that?
It's all skill. All horse racing is skill. It's being able to pick it. It's not
Churchill Downs in your pocket now too.
It's predicting things, Sam. Come on. I mean, hey.
Isn't that when I play 21? Aren't I predicting things too?
You're predicting a mathematical outcome. That's right. The 25 best Halloween TV episodes of the 21st century. So from the last 21 years, the 25 biggest episodes, and they're much more easily found with today's, on demand. At 25, Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Halloween episode.
I need to watch that. I've watched a few seasons. I need to keep watching.
Yeah. 30 Rock comes in at 19 with their episode called Stone Mountain. Are we allowed to watch 30 Rock this week, or do we have to All things Alec Baldwin, do we have to put in a box
Well, I don't
for a
think
while?
he's
Are
at
we
blame.
okay?
He's at blame. I don't think he's at blame, is he?
He's got a new podcast that was supposedly coming out this week that they've backburnered.
Yeah, I like 30 Rock. It's funny.
The Stranger Things at 18, Trick or Treat Freak.
I've never seen it.
You've seen that episode? If you've seen them all, so do you remember it?
I don't.
Okay. Well,
No.
I was relying upon you to keep us.
I never know TV shows by their episode name, though.
No, nor do I.
You tell me that that's the episode that this happened, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Parks and Rec Meet and Greet. Episode 13. This must be from the reboot because it has to be from the 21st century. One Day at a Time. One Halloween at a Time. I forgot they rebooted that show. Curb Your Enthusiasm has an episode called Trick or Treat. New Girl has an episode called Keaton. The Office has one just simply called Halloween.
I think, is that the one that Creed shows up with all the blood over his shirt?
Maybe.
It's really good timing.
Number 2, How I Met Your Mother had an episode called Slutty Pumpkin. And at number 1, Modern Family has an episode called Halloween. They always went, the Dunphys always went way far out on Halloween. So it probably would be okay. By the way, if you're looking for the Netflix codes to really zero in on the stuff you want to look at, you can go to netflix.com/browse/genre. And then you need to add this code. If you want family Halloween treats, it's 813-465-195. Did you write that down, Sam?
Got it up here. Memorized.
Tweet me and I'll give it to you if you don't know it. Halloween comedies, 815-10605. Do you like these cheat codes like in games? They're not really cheat codes. They just enable you to go straight to...
Those at least are easier than the games, because games would be like left trigger, X, Y.
Have you, by the way, waded through Netflix? Like now that I live in the 21st century, when you go online to find something to watch, I have the feeling of being starving man at a buffet. There's too many things to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
I need it narrowed down. So some of these Netflix codes are a little easier. They do have the shuffle button. No, there's too much.
You don't want to play Netflix roulette?
I don't want to play roulette. No, I could get into some bad. I don't want.
You don't want to start gambling, right?
No, I do not do that because gambling is not allowed in Kentucky. Keep that in mind. We got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
The ability to overcome failure and turn it into something positive is one of the greatest skills children can learn. Defeat will either stop children dead in their tracks, or it will create opportunities for them to discover their potential. That's been true of some of the most successful men and women in history. Like Albert Einstein, his verbal development as a child was so slow and inefficient that his school's headmaster believed Albert would never amount to anything. Thomas Edison was considered too stupid to learn. His teachers told his mother that he was a slow learner who asked too many questions. Winston Churchill was defeated in every election for public office until he became the Prime Minister of England at the age of 62. J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book as a struggling single mother on welfare. She was rejected by 12 publishers before selling the book for only $3,500. Every parent wants their children to succeed, but many won't allow them to fail. They don't teach their children that mistakes are stepping stones on the pathway to success. When failure is normalized, children learn to keep their hearts open to new possibilities. They learn to stretch beyond their comfort zone and to strive toward the future with confidence. So, teach your child how to succeed by teaching them how to fail. For more to help you thrive, go to FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Hey, everybody, it's time for a new season to start. That's right. Connect Open Enrollment is here, and everyone can get in the game. Whether you're looking for quality, affordable health coverage for you and your family, or any of our helpful benefits and resources, Connect is on your side. Enrollment kicks off on November 1st, so go to connect.ky.gov and go Team Kentucky. Connect, together for a better Kentucky.
We all say that we'll quit someday.
MB's point to ponder for today. We talked about the most popular Halloween candy. I came up with, I think, what might come in the bottom of the barrel, the least popular candies. Not just 32, on down the list. Like a candy, would you eat a candy called Poisonettes?
I'd probably eat Poisonettes before I'd eat Raisinets.
You'd eat Poisonettes before Raisinets?
Are you serious?
Ooh.
Damn.
I don't really like raisins.
What about Good and Sweaty?
I like Good and Plenty.
We've
Those
all
aren't
eaten
bad.
Good and Plenty. You wouldn't eat. How about Middle Finger?
I got one of those.
Do you have a Butterfinger? No, but I got a Middle Finger. Would you like one of those? Clam Duds. Ooh,
dear.
Clam Duds. That would. Ooh. Lice Krispy Treats. Yes, I told you that's bad. And then
Was that what they made in Caneyville there?
yes, and no, in Caneyville we had Bit of Squirrel.
Oh, dear.
That was our favorite Halloween candy was Bit of Squirrel.
I guess
we couldn't afford Bit of Honey.
Lice Krispy Treats is at Morgantown,
That
Butler
is
County.
absolutely where that comes from. On television tonight, let me get to my list real quick because there'll be something I'm sure you don't want to miss.
No baseball though, right?
Yeah, no baseball tonight because travel day. You got to get from Houston to Atlanta.
It's really not that far though.
Are they
Right,
still
like-
playing? Are they still playing?
Yeah, they're still playing
They're
in
going to
Atlanta.
play in Atlanta. So Atlanta's worthy of the World Series, but not worthy of the All-Star game. Is that what we've decided? Be prepared though. It's going to be very rainy in Atlanta tomorrow.
It might get postponed.
So we may not get Game 3 tomorrow night. So you might want to come up with alternate plans. Miss Buckles, I know you want to come up with alternate plans because
Yeah,
your
that's
viewing
it.
of the World Series Game 3 might be
You know
disrupted.
what you watch instead of World Series Game 3? You watch Cougars and the Raiders.
The Hart County Raiders get roughed up on K105 Digital Productions. I like that show. The season 7 premiere of City Confidential is on A&E tonight. It's one of the things you could watch since there's no baseball.
All right.
What's today's
Oh, there's
Thursday?
Packers.
Oh, yeah, the Packers play tonight, but I don't know who. Today's highlight in history, this date in 1886, the Statue of Liberty, a gift from the people of France, was dedicated in New York Harbor. In 1914, Jonas Salk was born. He developed the polio vaccine.
Like I knew that name, I couldn't figure that
Yeah,
out.
me too.
It's like that name sounded familiar, but I'm not sure I
Mhm.
would have been able to tell you what he did.
Bruce Jenner is 72 today. Mama called him Bruce. Actor Annie Potts is 69 today.
I learned a couple months ago she's a native Kentuckian.
Yes, she is.
I didn't know that.
I did.
I love her.
She's wonderful. I mean, she, in Designing Women, she was great, but she's great on Young Sheldon.
Because she's the mom, right?
Yeah, she's the mamaw.
The mamaw.
Ma'am, oh,
Her
that's right.
daughter is Sheldon's mom.
No, that's right.
No. The mom
the
is the
mom
daughter
is-
of Jackie
Yes.
on the Connors.
Yes,
That's the
you're right.
familial
Sorry.
connection there.
Yeah.
Bill Gates is 66 today. Lauren Holly is 58. Of course, my favorite Lauren Holly role is Dumb and Dumber. If you were the last man,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was the last woman,
Now I know. Now I know she is.
and the future of the human race depended upon. So you're saying there's a chance. Jamie Gertz is 56 today. Andy Richter is 55. Julia Roberts is 54 today.
Wow.
Brad Paisley is 49, and Joaquin Phoenix is 47. Gone but not forgotten, Bowie Kuhn. I did that for you, Sam. Former baseball commissioner. I knew
don't
you
even
knew
know that.
Bart Giamatti, and I knew you knew Happy Chandler was a
Governor
baseball
of Kentucky,
commissioner.
right?
But did you know
Bud Selig?
Bowie Kuhn was a baseball commissioner for a
No.
while? Charlie Daniels was born this date in 1936.
Did the Bells, have they come together with Devil Went Down to Georgia?
We're not talking at the moment.
Still a no?
I'm leaving them alone until after Saturday.
Oh.
I felt like my best place was just to let them
Well,
be.
maybe during basketball pep band.
I've been supportive, haven't I? Yes.
You even didn't eat a pork chop sandwich. You left those to the rest.
That's right. I was selfless. Let everybody else have the pork chop sandwiches. 1956, Elvis was number one.
Love me true.
That's a real humdinger. Let's go to 1965. The Toys and A Lover's Concerto.
Beyond the hill, the bright colors of the
I'm familiar with this song, but I never knew that was the name of this song because it doesn't sound like The Toys or Lover's Concerto.
Not sure I would have known what either one of those sounded like if you'd have told me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, here you go.
BTO number 1 in 74 with You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. It's okay if you say it in a song title.
Some great hair there on the drummer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You probably could have.
Now
gosh.
she's a lady.
1983, Alabama. Lady Down on Love was number 1.
That was about 10 seconds too long.
No, Sam, that's a good Alabama song.
Oxymoron right there.
Patti Smythe and Don Henley. Sometimes Love Just Ain't Enough was number 1 in 92.
It's like Jumbo Shrimp.
I love this song.
He didn't like Lady Down on Love. That's what he's
Well,
talking
He said good
but I
Alabama
love this
songs.
song.
about.
He
I
said
like
that-
this song too.
Oh, yeah, I have nothing against this.
It's my favorite duet between the two of them that went number 1. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes,